What up, YouTubers and YouTubettes? So today I'm going to show you about aspirators and my vacuum setup. Here I have in my garage that I built. And so first I drew some pictures to kind of help explain it, and then I'll go into what it actually looks like and how it physically works and stuff. I'm not the best artist, but it should help to kind of explain it. But yeah, let's do it. Alright, so I'm not the best artist in the world, but so this is kind of right here, this would be the suction line of how my vacuum system works. And so I have a tank underground that I buried, and this represents my garage's foundation, and then the wall would be here, and I have an air line that comes up through it. So anyways, the booster pumps here, they suck the water up to the pump itself. They pressurize the water and it comes up to there, so that would be like right here, and so then it goes around. Well, actually, I'm sorry, this is a top view looking down of my suction manifold, and so it'd come in from underground here to go to my one booster, and then my booster number 2, and then here's where I have an inlet for a second tank, which I keep clean water, and the second tank return just on the pressure side. And so from booster number 2 right here on top, the pressure line would be here, so then it comes around, booster 1 ties in here, and it goes to my Mozzie, which is my aspirator basically. But this is called a Mozzie, not an aspirator in waterworks. This is typically used for like ozone, because it's used for a few different things in water filtration. And so anyways, then it returns back to my dirty water tank. And so when I turn my Mozzie on here, that's the black thing in the video that I turn the valve and it starts the suction on. And so then this line wraps around, and that's where I tie it onto my my boiling flasks or whatever. And so then the way that a real aspirator works, if you went and bought an aspirator from a store, so you have your hot and your cold and your sink bib, and so you screw on your aspirator onto the end of your sink, and then there'll be a valve on the top or the bottom depending on how you set it up, or you can use that valve and have none over here or whatever. And so water will come through and shoot through here, and that will create a vacuum in like that. And so then this would be what you would run to your distillation setup to use an aspirator. And so now the reason that I don't use an aspirator like this and I use this system is because I use this water here, which I have 2 50-gallon tanks, so it's not tons of water, but it reuses the water over and over and over and over and over again, to where this, you get to use the water one time, and then it goes down your sink and into your septic tank or wherever your sink leads to. And so even for me though, I have to clean this tank out every once in a while though, because the water will get so acidic or whatever. I mean, I'll start out by putting clean water in here and then a ton of baking soda, but I still have to change it every once in a while. Maybe once or twice a year, but it still has to get done. And so yeah, that's kind of how my setup works, and then how aspirator works. And so I hope that helps. Okay, so this is my homemade distillation apparatus, or my vacuum setup actually. So that's my intake to these 2 booster pumps, which goes around, and I have a secondary intake right there to come into these 2 boosters. Then it comes up to here, goes around into that Mozzie, which is an aspirator, and then that clear tube and out to back to the tank that intakes from. That intake here is a clean water, so that one I keep RO water in, so that way if I need that, I can just use this pump to suck it up out, because that will take it up from this one, or return it to this one, but it'll take it up there and like that. But like this, go. lights on, and this turns my vacuum on. Alright, so as it's running, and it sucks here, it's this little air cleaner. So you can see right there, so a little bit about me. The way that I knew how to do all this kind of stuff is that, so I worked for a water company for 13 years, and in those 13 years, for the last 7 of them, I ran the water company. Just a small water company that was 15 employees, and we probably took care of 1.5 million people's water across 300 different water systems, and I probably rebuilt, I don't know, 50 different pump houses, and the biggest community's pump house I rebuilt was probably for 300,000 people, and so I mean, something like this was fairly basic for me. I mean, the plumbing I would do like, probably like 2 water softeners in front of 5 filters coming from up to 5 different reservoirs and 8 different wells all in the same system, and then go out to all the homes. And that would include like how the chemicals would get into it, the lines, and to treat everything. And so that was what I used to do for a living. And so I mean, I really liked that job because it was one of those jobs where the more you knew you didn't know. And that's something that I typically find in a job, is that I run out of what I can learn within a couple of years, and so then I get bored and have to go find something else. And the reason I quit working for the water company was because the people sucked. Yeah, and so, hooray to shit people. Alright guys, till next time.